between what is bondage and what is deliverance. One loves the 5 objects of enjoyment and one falls into wrong views. But the person whose 5 spiritual faculties, faith, etc., are complete is able to distinguish good from bad. If already he takes pleasure in the Sravaka system advocating the 10 good paths of action, why would he not think more deeply yet of Supreme Body? As soon as he first produces the mind of Supreme Body, he has already gone beyond the world. He goes even further when he has perfected this mind of Supreme Body. Furthermore, when the bodhisattva begins to taste the flavor of the prajnaparamita, he is able to produce the high aspiration. A man closed up in a dark prison who sees the light through a narrow slit, leaps for joy. He thinks and tells others that he alone has seen such a light, and, in his joy and happiness, he produces a high aspiration. Thinking of this light, he seeks to escape by any means. It is the same for the bodhisattva. Closed up in the dark prison of the 12 bases of consciousness and of ignorance by his earlier actions, everything that he knew and saw was false. But when he has heard the prajnaparamita and tasted its flavor a little bit, he thinks deeply about omniscience and wonders how to get out of the prison of the 6 sense organs, like the Buddhas and the Aryas. Finally, when the bodhisattva has produced the mind of supreme complete enlightenment, he acts in conformity with his wish. This is why he produces the high aspiration that consists of loving all dharmas but none as much as omniscience, of loving all beings but none as much as the Buddhas, of penetrating deeply into the feelings of compassion to work for the benefit of all beings. These are the characteristics of adhyasaya. In the first ground, the bodhisattva must always practice these resolutions associated with omniscience. 2. Sutra. The equality of mind towards all beings by not apprehending any being. By means of the resolutions associated with omniscience, the bodhisattva produces the 4 immeasurable feelings: loving kindness, compassion, joy and equanimity. Sastra. When the bodhisattva has obtained this high aspiration, he equalizes his mind in regard to all beings. Beings always love their friends and hate their enemies, but, for the bodhisattva who has obtained the high aspiration, enemy and friend are equal. He regards them as the same. Here the Buddha himself defines the equality of mind as being the 4 immeasurable feelings. When the bodhisattva sees beings experiencing happiness, he produces minds of loving kindness and joy and formulates the vow to lead all beings to find the happiness of a Buddha. When he sees beings undergoing suffering, he produces a mind of compassion and, out of pity for them, he formulates the vow to eradicate the sufferings of all beings. When he sees beings who are neither unhappy nor happy, he produces a mind of equanimity and formulates the vow of bringing them to renounce any feeling of fondness or aversion. For other explanations of these 4 immeasurable feelings, see what has been said above. 3. Sutra. The generosity of not apprehending either gift or giver. The bodhisattva makes gifts to all beings free of discrimination. Sastra. Generosity is of 2 kinds. 1. Making a gift by giving up a material object. 2. Obtaining body by giving up the fetters. The former is abandoning insofar as it rejects avarice. By contrast, the latter, the abandoning of the fetters, plays the role of cause and condition. It is necessary to reach the 7th ground in order to abandon the fetters. Question. There are several kinds of abandoning. Internal or external gift, small or large gift, material gift or gift of the Dharma, worldly gift or supraworldly gift, etc. Why then does the Buddha speak only of supraworldly gift, free of discrimination, and free of conceptualization? Answer. Although generosity is of any type, the Buddha speaks only of great generosity, the generosity that does not grasp the characteristics. Furthermore, the Buddha subscribes to no dharma and therefore teaches the bodhisattva a generosity, without adherence, in conformity with the teachings of the Buddhas. Here it would be necessary to speak at length about the generosity free of discrimination. As for the other kinds of generosity, they have been the object of many explanations already in several places. 4. Sutra. The good services rendered to good friends by not deriving any pride from them. Helping, venerating, respecting and listening to good friends who encourage one to omniscience. Sastra. On the good services rendered to good friends, see the explanations given above. 5. Sutra. The search for the Dharma by means of the non-apprehension of all the teachings. The bodhisattva seeks the Dharma with resolutions associated with omniscience and hence does not fall to the rank of Sravaka or Pratyeka Buddha. Sastra. There are 3 kinds of Dharma. 1. The supreme Dharma of all. Nirvana. 2. The means of attaining nirvana. The Noble Eightfold Path. 3. All good words, truthful words promoting the Eightfold Noble Path. These are or b. The 12-membered speech of the Buddha, or c. The 4 baskets consisting of I. The 4 agamas, e. The Abhidharma, the Vinaya, iv. The Kasudraka Pitaka, plus all the Mahāyāna sutras such as He Mahaprajna Paramita, etc. All that is called Dharma. To seek the Dharma is to write it, to recite it, to study it and to meditate on it. These texts heal the mental illnesses of beings. The bodhisattva sacrifices his life to gather together these text remedies. Thus while still a bodhisattva, the Buddha SA was called Lo-Fa. At that time there was no Buddha, and this bodhisattva had not yet heard a good word, but he was searching everywhere for the Dharma and did not relax his exertion. However, he had not yet found it. One day, Mara transformed himself into a Brahmana and said to him, I have a stanza spoken by a Buddha. I will give it to you if you agree to write it using your skin as parchment, your bone as pen and your blood as ink. Dharmarata thought. During my previous lifetimes I have lost my life an incalculable number of times without ever deriving any benefit from it. Immediately he flayed his skin, put it out to dry and wrote the stanza on it. Mara went to take his life when, at that moment, the Buddha, aware of the extreme resolve of the bodhisattva, arose from the direction of the nadir and came to teach him their profound Dharma. Immediately Dharmarata obtained the conviction that Dharmas do not arise. Sa Topo Luin also sought the Dharma by ascetic practices. The bodhisattva Sakyamuni drove 500 nails into his body in order to find the Dharma. The king Kinkian perforated his body in 500 places, put wicks in the holes and threw himself into the flames in order to light them. All these heroes were seeking the Dharma by means of these ascetic practices and deeds in order to teach beings. Finally, the Buddha himself says here that by seeking the Dharma with resolutions associated with omniscience, the bodhisattva does not fall to the rank of Sravaka or of Pratyeka Buddha. 6. Sutra. The continual departure from the world by the non-apprehension of the householder life. From lifetime to lifetime and with an unmixed intent, the bodhisattva goes forth from the world and becomes a monk in the Tathagata's order, and is not hindered by anyone. Sastra. The bodhisattva knows that the householder life is the cause and condition of many wrongs. If I remain at home, he says to himself, I myself will be unable to carry out the pure practices. How then could I lead others to practice them? If I follow the rules of the householder life, I would have a whip and a stick, etc., and I would be tormenting beings. If I act in